Tuesday. RawMikeRichards.com, broadcasting live from the DKI studios in downtown Toronto. 234 King Street East out of the Pacific Junction Hotel. Coming up today, one of our good friends, our excellent friends, Joe Bartnick. I think he's back in the hood. Could be back in Pittsburgh. What do you think of his team's chances? We'll also take a look at the team so far and the number of teams in the Raw Mike Richards playoff pool. What do you say there was, Dave? What do we got so far?
214.
214, but
that's as of 10:01 Eastern Time here on the East Coast.
You still have time to get in. I feel bad for some people because when these e-blasts are going out, I explained it yesterday. The way it shows up on your phone, it says this is from a mailing list. Do you wish to unsubscribe? They don't even know it's from us. And I can tell you that the names that I saw coming across yesterday and last night, they did not mean to unsubscribe. And there's a lot of them. So I'm going to have to get a hold of the people that I do know. The people that I don't, what I'm going to sit there and email people all day saying, no, that was a mistake. You didn't mean to do that.
Ted just said I said 214. Did I say 214?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. 114.
Oh, okay.
114.
Yeah, but we want 214.
Somebody's watching live.
Yeah.
And it's Teddy Ball Game. That's what it is.
Teddy Ball Game.
Teddy Ball Game.
Well, we'll get to some of the names that that have registered. They're actually pretty funny. In the Raw Mike Richards Blade Tape Playoff Pool Extravaganza. Trust me, you want to get in on this, you need to subscribe to the actual website. So the RawMikeRichards.com, not just the YouTube subscription. That does not count. So we will also take a look today at some, we like to look at some vintage. And when you talk about vintage, if I say vintage hockey, Dave, with some blood with it, what's the first team that comes to mind?
Philadelphia Flyers, Boston Bruins.
Yeah, so Flyers.
Something in that range.
We're going to take a look at some Flyers action.
Yep.
In the 1970s, when it's the full-on Broad Street bullies in action.
That's one era I wish I would have been able to watch live.
As a Leaf fan, that was the worst because it was scary.
Every
game I was scared.
Yeah, because I was at the end of that. I was my recognition and reflection of hockey as a kid was New York Islander dynasty.
Yeah, and that just came not that much later after that. No. We're talking late 70s, early 80s. But boy, I'll tell you, if you have to understand the era that it was, and if you're of a certain age group and you're looking at you'll see this today and you'll think these people were animals. But not only that, it's when glass. If I stood up and I'm on what they call the rails, right? So I'm sitting right ringside, right in the rails. If I stood on my seat in the day in 1970, I could get over the glass.
Yep, easy.
Yeah, and they had the big kind of stanchions or whatever in between. Like actually, wouldn't say stanchion, but those separators. You didn't have the giant, beautiful, seamless glass that they came out with. And I would say, what was that? Late 90s, early 2000, probably in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And Montreal was the first building in the Bell Center. That's the first time I ever saw the seamless glass. Like I couldn't believe how amazing it was. When you watch this clip, you'll be looking for the line trainers and people with whips, because when Philadelphia decided to go at it, or Boston, like it wasn't just the other team that wasn't safe. It was the people who had to pay tickets to watch the game. And Philadelphia was scary because those guys just didn't care. And you have to remember, after the 1972 series, where we cheered it, where when Bobby Clark went up with his stick and a full two-hander and broke the ankle of, I don't know if it was Yakashev. I'm trying to think. Harlamov.
Yeah.
Over his ankle, and those skates those guys used.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just like a thin piece of leather.
Yep.
We used to joke about army boots with a blade nailed on the bottom. It wasn't far from that.
He went Paul Bunyan on him.
Yes, he did. And we were like, yeah, hey, he broke his ankle. Yay.
It's hard to cheer all together in that tone.
Yeah.
That's good, though. You captured the audience.
The Canadians were good. And we would like that. But then, of course, when you played against them in the NHL, dirty player.
See, there it goes again.
Shouldn't be breaking ankles of other team players. Yeah. So we'll take a look at that. There's a Pittsburgh game where I know I said Dennis Herron. Dennis Herron at the time. I'm saying his name was Dennis Herron.
Denny Herron?
Yeah, it was well, whatever his name was at that point. He wasn't a fan playing for Pittsburgh against the Flyers, and that's those early 1980s Flyers team. So where Dave Poulin was the captain, and so Pelle Lindbergh playing goal. They were really good teams. And this is not a good moment for Pittsburgh. So with Joe Bartnick coming up, I'll make sure there's separation between those clips because he's not going to be a fan of what I'm going to play. Getting to some of the current events, even though, quite frankly, for the Raptors, someone said last night, "You watching the Raptor game?" Now I was in an event. Awesome time with the Wizard Foundation raising money for the Special Olympics in Ontario. So myself and our good friend Joe Bowen went up there to basically ridicule everyone who was making their draft picks, trying to get in there. A lot of people, if you didn't know any better, a lot of people were on Winnipeg last night. There were 3 tables that were almost exclusively all Jets, and there's like 10 rounds. I'm like, there are no players left.
A lot of smart guys out there. I wish I would have been part of that one.
One guy was very brave. He said, "We're proud to draft the Washington goalies." Who are they?
Enjoy.
I said, are their goalies showing up in their dad's car fully dressed with skate guards on? Because I don't know who these goalies are. Who are the goalies? So we'll get to some of the. But it was a great time last night, and so they're saying, the Raptors. I'm going, I forgot the Raptors still had games. I'm going to be honest. It's just playoffs now. I mean, what could be achieved? Well, I'll tell you what.
Want to hear a good story?
Yeah.
Yesterday around 4 o'clock, I get a release from one of the beat writers from Detroit, the Pistons. Pistons are sitting down Robert Drummond, sitting down Blake Griffin, sitting down another 2 starters, and then I look through the Raptor stuff, and they're like, okay, there's a couple guys sitting, but JV is playing, DeMar is playing, a couple other guys are playing, and then I look on Sports Interaction, Raptors -6 on the road, $25, bet the single game to win 50. Boom!
Yeah.
Right there.
See, if I'd been at home and being the normal degenerate that I would be,
it's easy.
I'm all over
yeah.
it. I'm all over it.
As Dire Straits would say, that's the way you do it. You play your guitar on your MTV.
Did you like that song?
Love it.
Christ.
The guitar riff at the beginning. Oh, come on.
Yeah, that was the best part, but that's that. It's not my kind of band. Hey, here's Guitar George. He knows all the chords. The Sultans. The Sultans.
Okay, that's a good song, too.
Okay, I'm like, just get it off. Didn't sound like Rush to me. I don't see
and
any.
Harry doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene.
Anyone who has that weird
Bob Dylan-ish voice,
I'm out.
He's got a daytime job. He's doing all right.
No, he's doing all right. I'm like, okay, get it off. Get it off. I see no explosions. It's not Van Halen. There are no explosions with the bands. You're out.
I like Van Halen more, but I'm saying Dire Straits has 3 or 4 songs that I'd like.
Yeah, but back in the day, if you had Van Halen fans and Dire Straits fans,
that doesn't happen.
They're not getting along.
No, they're not. I'm definitely one of those guys that could be friends with the band and with the football team.
Well,
more the football team.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But the band, sometimes it pays to like everybody.
Like some of the girls in the woodwind. I'm just saying. There's a reason. I was in the band.
I'm not familiar with that.
I was a percussionist.
Well, okay.
And they came in and go, you don't want the girls. Sorry, the girls that are playing the brass instruments, tuba, cornet, trumpet, no. And then all of a sudden the girls who play the flute and clarinet. Yeah.
Yes,
Ooh.
The girls that play the flute.
Yep. And they're sitting there, and you're like getting all worked up. And they're like, excuse me, what are you doing? I'm waiting for the drums to come in. Yeah, but your face is really red. Shut up. I get really into playing the timpani, and you're in the way. Gung, 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 gung. So, the Raptors, Pistons, huge excitement. At some point, I would say at the end of the third quarter and beginning of the fourth, the Raptors just decided, what are we doing? We probably should just win this game. For them, the good thing that I would see in the last week, after there was previously a bad 2 weeks, is the defense is starting to show up a little bit. This obviously is the second unit. But when you play a little bit of D, you get some transition. That's what happened. And just look at the score. This is towards the end of the third quarter. What is it, Russell? Like a 3-point game. It's a 3-point game. Watch how quickly, within a matter of 120 seconds, this whole thing just gets away from them. Once again, property of the National Basketball Association and the NBA broadband properties.
It's out of Kyle's hands and clock things up for them. Other players have to step up and make shots. Depth
stuffed
due to defensively win games ugly. Shot clock down to 2. Spinning around, DeMar, bucket. They've won 14 in a row. Last time they lost was March the 4th at Milwaukee.
Look how quickly this gets away.
CJ cut off by Tolliver. Great dish, and Pirtle
On, as Dave said, a depleted Piston team.
15 from the field. Loose ball scooped up just the way you draw it up. CJ Norman.
Look at this. It's just
That
ridiculous.
night.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Puts it on the deck. Drives. I think that's Norm now looking for a screen. Step back.
I'm just getting the highlights, folks. I didn't cut it.
Post position by Yaz.
Again, he's hitting stride at
Yeah,
the
so
right
there
time.
it is once again as they walk away from the Pistons. The one good thing about it is I'm seeing a little bit of defense. Even though the team is depleted, at least keep them under 100 points. That's exactly what they
Yeah,
did.
bingo, bango,
Yeah.
move on kind
Yeah.
of thing, right?
Yeah, nothing huge there. Now, if we're looking at the Blue Jays, we'll just sort of, as they say, round the bases a little bit.
Ooh, nice one.
The Blue Jays are beaten up on teams that they need. If they're going to stay
This
close
is good.
to the Bostons and the New Yorks, if this is what you want to do, then when you play the Texas Rangers, when you play the Baltimore Orioles, you kind of have to do what they did. So not to overplay to a degree. Again, we're what, 10, 11 games in or whatever it is.
Yep.
So it's awfully early. But I would say that at least there's an understanding, at least right now, that this team has to put it to the garbage teams. Baltimore is in that category. And it was, what, 3-1 at this point? This
Garbage
is
City, garbage team.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Oh, it's garbage.
have you seen The Wire?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I
not.
have.
You're just like, you know what? Honey, you want to take a vacation to Baltimore? Yeah. That would be great. And so, once again, property of the Major League Baseball and MLB Advanced Media. Here's what Donaldson did to make sure that this game was going to be over with the Grand Salami.
More breaking balls. I mean, what he's looking for.
He chomps one to center field. Adam Jones is looking at his way back, and goodbye. Home run, a grand slam. With 2 down in the top of the 9th inning, Josh Donaldson makes it a 7-1 ball game.
And there it goes, Dave. That's a grand salami, as you heard by the swing of the bat. Let's hear that again. There's the swing. Oh, and he got out of that one, and there she goes, Dave. I'm glad he got a grand slam because I bet on the Blue Jays. I mean,
Yeah. Donaldson, by the way, moved from third to first because of an injury to Kendrys Morales. We don't know the extent of it. They're saying right hamstring, I believe, but we'll find out more. Also, let's see here. Randall Grichuk snapped his O-list streak. He is now hitting a very impressive 0.86. 0.86 for your starting right fielder. Mike, back to you.
That's not very good, Dave.
7-4 on the year, though.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Better than I thought. I thought maybe at this stage it would be, 4-7. I was wrong.
Well, and again, Yankees are already. Why are we pressing teams on certain play? Okay, here's the one that you don't have to press so far. Now, this game is probably 48 hours old, but for those of you and those of us on the eastern seaboard, or at least the East Coast, you don't sometimes pay or get a chance to see a lot of the West Coast.
Nope.
Which, if you haven't seen Showtime,
He really is Showtime, too.
he might be, and I hate to say it, the real deal, because I
greatest
hate
pitcher
jumping on
ever?
it. Well, the greatest, like everything.
Player ever.
Like he just might be. Here's what I think is interesting. So here's Ohtani. He is 6'4", 200 pounds, and guys that size, like they can throw angry. I think I look at in their primes. Randy Johnson be up there. I mean, even Cole Hamels.
Sure.
When he used to throw that way.
Philadelphia Philly Cole Hamels.
Yes.
Yes.
Like it was a little intimidating the way they actually threw the ball angry. This guy's got control. I mean, this guy's got mechanics that they're just outstanding. In comparison, it's like the Ernie Els drive, like that swing. The drivers, it looks like he's not even trying because the mechanics are that smooth. This Ohtani is really quite something. So this is the game against the Oakland A's, granted. But he's taken, at this point, a perfect game into the 7th inning. He ends up getting, I think, 12 Ks. His record is just, I mean, he's a freak show right now, 2-0 with an ERA of 2.08, 18 Ks.
Not bad.
And 2 base on balls. What's he hitting?
398, 389, something like that. 3 home runs, 7 RBI, on fire.
This is crazy. Yeah. So if you haven't seen Showtime, this is what it looks like. And again, when you get sometimes, Dave, a perfect game, it's not like the other members of the team aren't helping you with it. Sometimes you need a little luck. You need some guys to do some stuff. You're not getting it on your own. So it doesn't look like, to a degree, it's just no one's hitting him. No, there is some contact in here. His team is helping him out, but still, the real deal, once again, property of Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball broadband properties.
Ready to take the mound here at the Big A. Making his home debut on the bump. Kozar down in shallow right, 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes Joyce. 1 away.
This pitch right here, split. Straight down.
That goes straight down, Dave.
3-2 to Simeon. Swing and a miss. Down goes Marcus. Down goes Lowry. A 1-2-3. Top of the
that
first.
ball, the bottom just drops out of that thing,
Good
Dave.
afternoon. Good night.
I think that's been used before.
On the way. That's lined out towards center field. Trout coming on, and he will
see. There's the team kind of helping you out a little bit, Dave.
Best center fielder in the world. Yep.
A little bit more difficult because you got a big boy at the plate swinging the bat
especially
hard.
with that great power that he has. He kind of get fooled initially as an outfielder. Trout was able to run.
God, that baseball park looks great.
It's an older one too.
Yeah, it still looks great.
2 outs. He just got lucky that he got 2 of the same pitches back to back.
Russell likes the waterfall, he told me.
This one's out toward left field. Upton has to go back on it. Did not square that one up. And a 1-2-3 inning. 2-2 now. Lifted in the air.
I heard the bat swing.
Foul territory goes Luis Valbuena. Puts it away. 1 down. 0-2. Down goes Pastrana.
And again, just to look at it, just how, in terms of mechanics, how good he looks doing this, Dave. Again, he's not overthrowing.
2-2. Down goes Smolinski.
But you notice every strikeout, those guys are almost, their knees are on the dirt at home plate trying to get low enough. It just, a thing of beauty.
You always want strikeouts, but getting those quick ground ball outs like that.
We'll watch one more.
And just blew that one right by them.
That is a piece of work. I mean, Showtime might be the real deal, worth the money. Right now, he makes, what is it, to $2.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
If this continues, what kind of dough is this guy going to make? What kind of cake, Dave? What kind of cake is he bringing home?
Touching 30.
Oh, $30 million.
Well, he's going to be making the same sort of coin that all the top major league pitchers would make, between $25 and $30 million, which is ridiculous even to comprehend for a season.
Or a human being. $30 million?
For 5 generations of families to make that kind of money he makes in 1 year. Yeah, I know.
5 very successful generations of families, I got to say.
I was going to say.
Now, Russell, if you had $30 million, think about it, $30 million.
$30 million.
Yeah, what would you do? What would you do with $30 million?
Yeah, tell us, Russell.
Let's go to the Russ Cam. Yeah.
Travel first, probably.
Where's your first 3 places?
Oh. Nah, that's putting me on the spot.
Ottawa? Ottawa?
I asked the tough question.
Ottawa? Uxbridge?
And Thornhill.
And Thornhill.
Timmins? What?
Well, I'm seeing some of Europe this year, so
that's right. Sweden's on that. Sweden. Yep.
I'd like to see like the parts of Europe that I'm missing. Definitely like to go somewhere like Dubai. That'd be
very adventurous. He's going where the rich go. That's very nice.
It's true.
Yeah.
He's one of them.
And
would you buy a girl?
Probably not. No.
Yeah, maybe everything in that sentence except the not part.
$30 million. First place I'm going to is south of France.
Yeah.
I'm renting a villa that overlooks the Sur de Mar or whatever, right? Where Mick Jagger and those guys go. St. Bart's is another rich person to go to. They shoot porn films on there too. So
really,
yeah.
So you know it's classy.
It is good.
Yeah, that'd be easy. I'd take the $30 million, head back to Winnipeg, travel with the Jets during the playoffs.
Okay, I don't think a lot of people are doing that.
Hey, first destination, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah. Mr. Howard Chuck, that Dave guy's on the phone. Oh my God. He's offering money to come to the house.
He'd be a good travel companion.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's a dream for him.
There you go.
And then what you do? Okay, in 1978, Dave, here's $1 million to just hang out. I got to tell you something that is very cool, and I just, the Wizard Foundation, where it was another playoff pool sort of thing that we did last night. Joe Bowen got up and talked about the Humboldt Broncos simply because he was play-by-play, I think, for the Sudbury Wolves for a long time. I think he spent a lot of time on those buses.
Yep.
Now his two younger sons. One, I think, plays for Sudbury. Another one plays locally Stouffville, so that's the tier 2 junior A that they call it here in Ontario. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of the equivalent of what the Humboldt Broncos are playing. It's not major junior A. And your life is on those buses. So he was very emotional, Joe was, last night talking about it, just saying that, there's a lot of people with a lot of different kinds of dreams. It's not that everyone on that bus is even expecting to go professional, but they do have their own dreams to themselves, and they were all just completely obliterated upon that truck T-boning them. So courtesy of our friends at, I believe this is Global News. This is, and I think you probably heard about it. You see the hashtag put your stick out?
Yes, sir.
Which is a really very cool and a very emotional idea. I've seen some of them do it in my neighborhood. And, of course, you've probably heard about it, but if you haven't seen it, once again, courtesy of Global News, it starts off actually with the coach. I think of this as Saskatoon Blades talking about this, just what this means. It's just still very emotional, but the heart is definitely in the right place. Is the sound not on this? Okay. Oh, that's too bad. Anyway, there's the picture of the sticks that they have put outside their homes. Some people have put all 15 for all the players that and those that had passed away on that bus. And of course, you can see them. Some people, it's that symbolic nature of give the boys what they need. I mean, it's a very emotional thing to do. I don't know if you've seen it in your neighborhood. I have in mine, and it's just wonderful because it really has caught on. And I think in terms of what that means, and again, we just saw briefly the coach from the Saskatoon Blades. That is, I think it's a pretty cool thing to do. If you have the ability to do it,
very good idea.
Just give it a shot, because I know it still resonates and will for a very long time in that community and in hockey. And I do have to say this. I think the hockey community has been fantastic at all levels on both sides of the border. He was listening on Mad Dog Sports out of New York, so Shine on Sports. So Shine's he's a long time a New York guy, but they're talking about about the Masters, because this was yesterday. So the Masters they were talking about. There's obviously talk about Major League Baseball, and almost every caller said, I also want to just give my respects. And sometimes they don't know. They're not. I mean, what's the Saskatchewan mean to someone in North Carolina? But they're like that junior hockey team in Canada where all the boys were killed. My respects and thoughts and prayers for the families. It really has traveled that far. So the issue with or the symbolic nature of the sticks outside of the homes have been really quite something. Now, you're watching RawMikeRichards.com. Also on the YouTube channel, where we're getting a hold of the legendary Joe Bartnick.
Hello.
I'm looking for, I just said legendary Joe Bartnick. Legendary.
That's so nice of you, Mike. Yes. It's patently ridiculous, though.
How you doing, my friend? Great to talk to you this morning.
Oh, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. The playoffs are upon us. I'm a little nervous because, of course, it's the Flyers, and I'm not nervous that we might lose. It's just, oh my God, if we would. Oh, geez.
No.
Can't even think about it.
No, you can't.
I get more confident every day. Every second, I get more confident.
Well, this is a team, when I take a look at the Eastern Conference, I don't give a rat's ass about any of the records during the regular season. This is a different kind. This is that second season. And quite honestly, if you're not afraid of what Pittsburgh can do, the kinds of players they have, those that have hoisted hardware above their heads, I still think, to me, that they're the team to beat in the East.
You know, I think they have a very good chance. The team to beat, I'm not quite sure, because I think over in the Atlantic, there's some big boys. And if we win 2 rounds, you know, I'll be happy, and I think it'll just be a war against either Tampa Bay or Boston, or even Toronto for that matter. But I think in the Metro, I definitely think we are the team. We are the team to beat.
So you're in Pennsylvania this morning. You're in Pittsburgh. What's the feeling right now of Pennsylvania as they're calling it? Are they? I know it's the Flyers, and there's been a very, very rich history between these two teams. What are they saying about this right now, Joe?
Right now, everyone in Pittsburgh is ultra confident and super scared at the same time, because we're ultra confident we're going to win, but oh my God, if we don't, it would be the end of the world. And literally it would be. And I'll tell you, I think everyone is, you know, of course everyone wants to win 3 immortality. I think, you know, but, you know, everyone's like, you know, they won 2. We're not going to come down hard on this team, but just beat the Flyers. What happens after that? We can all a city and a community.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at that matchup too, so you have the Flyers and Penguins. That starts on Wednesday. The curiosity part for me, Joe, I don't know about you, is what happens in that Washington-Columbus series, because if I'm betting money on this, which I clearly will be betting money on this, I got the Columbus Blue Jackets to pull this upset. What about you?
I think it's a great series, and it really is going to come. And it really is it's a legacy, really, for each franchise. You know, I mean, probably, you know, it's going to Bobrovsky. I mean, his legacy in Columbus will be ever shattered. He can never win a series. Tortorella, this might be it for Tortorella. And then you have Trotz, probably definitely it for Trotz, and maybe even Holtby would find a different city next year, and they may even turn to Grubauer. So I think all the chips are in the middle of the table. I think that Washington is more experienced down the middle. I think Backstrom and Kuznetsov, you know, I think Dubois is a comer. I think Wenberg is definitely a comer. I think they win down the middle, and I also think Ovechkin, I mean, the fact that he is not in the Hart conversation after they kind of have to dismantle this team and he went out and won the Rocket is a little crazy to me.
Well, the only thing I'd say about Washington, we did, there's many drafts going around the city, obviously. Did an event last night where the guy picked the Washington goalies, and I said, but who are they? Like, is that the mystery pick? I mean, what was that, door number 3? Because I got to be honest, in this league, in this day and age, I just am a little worried about a team that can't say, here's our number 1, and Columbus can't. I mean, and Bobrovsky can be weirdly hot. Like, he can get a bit of a run sometimes. That would be my danger in that series.
Yes, you know, I just think the Holtby is. I think Holtby is a great goaltender, and basically both of these teams aren't playing the Penguins, so they shouldn't have the bugaboo in their head. I think Holtby's going to bounce back. You know, I really do. And if he doesn't, I like Grubauer. I think Grubauer is a very good goaltender, and he was hot. I just have a feeling that this could be Washington's year. I just have a feeling, and I just really like Ovechkin. I like Ovechkin this year. I just have to say they have a little bit of mojo going for him. I don't know if that's expert analysis. I just kind of like what they got going over Columbus.
Well, you also said bugaboo, which I'm a huge fan of people coming on.
Yeah,
and saying
we never use that word. That's great.
You rarely get that, Joe. Bugaboo.
You know what, guys? I will say I've been, you know, making picks in print or, you know, on the airwaves for about a decade now, and this does seem to be the one year where the first round there seems to be way more easy ones to pick than in years past. I don't know how you guys feel. Years past, it seemed like anyone could win any series, and I think this year, especially out west, there just seems to be a few that are like, there's no way they're going to win. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Well, I think that in the Eastern Conference, I think at some point, if I'm being really honest about it, this is the one year where I think you can flip a coin a little bit. Once you get by that first round, and depending on who gets by that first round, I don't think, like I said, I still like Pittsburgh to sort of be there in the end in the Eastern Conference, but for the most part, a lot of these teams can take out each other. I don't think Tampa Bay plays consistently enough that I'm totally afraid of them. And for the Leafs playing Boston, I mean, again, I'm throwing out the regular season record, but they did beat them. What was it, 3-1-1 against overall against Boston? So that's not David and Goliath kind of numbers to me. I think this thing is up for grabs in the East.
Yes, definitely more so in the East. Well, I think that's what's funny about I think Boston. I think is everyone's nouveau pick to win the East, and they actually have the toughest first round matchup by far. I think Toronto's a fabulous team. I just like Boston's tough defense. Especially Chari. You got McAvoy back. Anderson's played incredible this year. I mean, I think he set the Leafs record for goaltending. But Rask has had a great season too, and I just like Boston up front. I think Boston just has a little bit more of a mean streak than Toronto, and I know Toronto will be heartbroken if they do lose. They expect more, but I think they got a bad matchup. I think they can beat anybody. I think anybody else, they might pick them, but not Boston.
Let's rewind to what you were saying about the Western Conference, because I know there's a couple of series that you sit there and you go, check mark, check mark. I'm not so fast on the check mark when I see San Jose versus Anaheim because, for the most part of this year, San Jose had home ice advantage until the last game, so the Ducks jump over them to actually take that number 2 spot. But these two teams, the way they've matched up and how well they've played late in the season, post-trade deadline, Evander Kane might be the best pickup for any team, and the Ducks have been playing as solid as ever. Where do you look in that? Because I look at all the first-round matchups, that might be the toughest matchup to pick.
Well, that in the Boston series is the only series that I picked to go 7. I have the Ducks. I love the Ducks top 9. I think they might have the best overall top 9 in the NHL. The concerning factor for me would be their goaltending. I mean, John Gibson, he gets hurt in a pregame meal.
Yeah.
He can't. He never makes it, So and Ryan Miller, let's face it, he hasn't stopped an important shot in anger in about a decade. So I would give Jones the goaltending edge if it's Miller, but I think they're going to somehow find a way for Gibson to play, and the Ducks are going to miss Cam Fowler. But I just have I just have a feeling with the Ducks this year. It seems like Getzlaf and Perry are revving it up a little bit. They have tons of scoring up top. I really think they have the best top 9, and they match up against the Sharks pretty good. And I like Kane, but if any team has a bunch of rough customers to kind of not be intimidated by Kane, it's definitely the Anaheim Ducks.
Well, and you bring up a good point about John Gibson. I mean, Dave and I have been talking about him since what was he, Kitchener? I think he came.
You got it.
He was a Ranger. We had a chance to see him play in the World Juniors when I was over in Ufa, Russia, and he's just had. I mean, you watch a guy in warm-up, and I'm thinking, there's no one going to score on this guy. He gets to the pros, and I already thought we were going to see him again with some hardware from time to time, but he has just, you're right, has just not been healthy. It's just he cannot get consistent play over a long period of time. And when again, you get in this time of year, I have to go with what I think is the more consistent goaltender, and Martin Jones, who has been he's been great since the moment that he goes to L.A. Whenever he had to fill in for Jonathan Quick. The guy was amazing. This kid can play goal, so I understand why you're saying that. But I would have loved to have seen a healthy John Gibson, what he can do, because the guy's got crazy skills.
Oh, absolutely. And the Sharks, their top tier defensemen are incredible. But I just really like the Ducks down the middle. I mean, the pickup of Henrique. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, I know they gave away a nice defenseman, but they really have 3 strong centers. I mean, they could match up against Pittsburgh center-wise. They definitely have the deepest center pool in the West.
By the way, a quote from the Los Angeles Times, Randy Carlyle told the paper that he fully expects John Gibson to start Game 1 of that series against the Sharks. I know he missed the last 3 games of the regular season, but he was on the ice yesterday and the day before, and there are signs that are pointing to him getting that start. So I know time will tell, and I know sometimes Carlisle does seem to play games occasionally with the media, and he doesn't like talking about his goaltender, but there are signs, Joe, that are saying that Gibson will be good to go in that series.
There's always goalie games in Anaheim. Remember Barbecue Bruce? He couldn't pick a goaltender either.
Now, I do have to mention something that, what was it, about a month ago, whenever it was, you were in town for St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah, you were in Calgary.
And I was in Calgary. I wasn't even in the province. And you and Bill were doing that show, I think, in Kitchener, I think.
Yeah, we went to Kitchener, and I found out that it was the home of Crown Royal. I mean, I went and genuflected. It was my mecca.
Is it really you know what? They just said that. That's not true.
They may be pulling your leg, Joe.
I think Crown Royal's made in Manitoba.
Yeah, I thought it was Gimli, Manitoba.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because I thought that's where the Seagram's family dealt. I was told that's where Al Capone got all of his booze.
You know,
it was one of the cities, yes, and in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
How do people know this shit? They don't know.
Yeah,
you know,
friends with Al.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden saying something nice, Joe Bartnick. Oh yeah, this is Kitchener where popsicles were invented here. Who knows? That's
well, you know, for how much Crown Royal I've drank, there should have been a few buildings named after me if that really is the home of Crown Royal.
Hey, did you guys find a place for cigars? Because it's really hard to find sometimes. It is hard to find.
Well, you know, I don't know if you've heard there was a bar, and now I'm blanking on the famous comic passed away suddenly of cancer. I'm blanking right now. I'm in hockey mode, but he has a bar dedicated to him in downtown Toronto, and they were nice enough to let us smoke in there.
I'm trying to think of where that. Look, the last cigar bar that I've found is in Montreal. Because in Montreal, there's no rules.
It wasn't a cigar bar. It was a cigar bar that. It was a bar that just let me and Bill smoke in there.
Nice. So you a big cigar smoker then? That makes you even a greater legend in my mind. Greater.
Well, I do enjoy a very nice cigar. I mean, we used to do one or two a day, and then you end up you're talking like Scotty Farrell, which the man I love. But you got to back off a little bit. Now, you know, two or 3 a week. You know, we got spoiled. You know, we're not smoking Dutch Masters. We always got Cubans or Davidoff Nicaraguans. So, you know, I love amenities, Mike and Dave.
Well, you know, when I was in Detroit for the entry draft, we went downtown, and there are these two older Italian ladies. In the days, you'd call them two good old broads. But apparently people sensitive now. Now that's upsetting. But that's what they were. We go in there, and it was a cigar bar, but you could bring your own booze. So I had a huge thing of Crown Royal, obviously, that I just got from a liquor store down the street. It was right downtown Pittsburgh, and Canadians couldn't believe this. So I'm in there pouring booze that I brought in there, and these older Italian twin sisters or whatever they were, and the place was like a Cheech and Chong movie. You couldn't even see the guy beside you because there was so much smoke. I go, this is a town. This is where I need to be. Do you know the place I'm talking about?
Oh, you know, they have a bunch of cigar places in Pittsburgh. To be honest with you, Pittsburgh is a great town. I always take Bill down to the Italian market in the Strip District.
Oh, nice.
We always get the gabagool and the salami and the sharp provolone you can't get anywhere west of the Mississippi. You know, it's a nice bread. Have a little antipasta before the show. It's always fantastic. I still can't believe I'm blanking on this comic.
So
it's driving me nuts.
He's a comic from Toronto that passed away, and the bar's named after him?
No, he's a famous comic from Texas. He did a famous Letterman thing. He died of cancer. He's a legend. I'm literally just blanking out.
Oh, I can't believe that.
And Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, and they have a bar dedicated to him.
Okay, that's news to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
Boy,
and they were.
He has some famous,
super cool
famous ripping of crowd members who weren't quite getting the vibe that he was providing. And there's some legendary carvings from Bill Hicks. He didn't mess around much, did he?
Oh, no, not at all. And legendary David Letterman pops. You know, I mean, it was like Bill Hicks went viral before there was the internet. That's how legendary Bill Hicks was.
Oh, awesome. Hey, we will catch up with you again, my friend, as the playoffs move on. I just got to say, I like the Penguins. I think they're going to do well in the playoffs. I mean, who knows what happens. I still think deep down, if I had to put money on something, I'm still picking the Nashville Predators. I think it's the Predators' cup to lose.
You know, that's why can't the Preds just play Winnipeg right now? It's like they're getting 2 squash matches before WrestleMania. Are you kidding me?
That's true. They're going Undertaker over John Cena, hard time against the Avs, eh?
Yeah, you know, that way. And then how about Winnipeg and Minnesota? Are you kidding me? Connor has over 30 goals. He's an afterthought on that team.
Bingo.
I want to see Jets Preds.
Bingo.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's going to be great.
Don't sleep on the Winnipeg Jets, by the way, in that series. That's
no,
good.
I am not sleeping on the Winnipeg. I mean, the Winnipeg Jets may have the most talent in the National Hockey League.
Ever.
Oh, ever. Yeah, well,
they're like the 80s Oilers.
Yeah. This is becoming awkward now, actually, this conversation.
Hey, Joe, quickly, are you going to the game tomorrow? Because you are in Pittsburgh right now. Are you going? You got tickets or what?
Well, I was supposed to leave on Tuesday because I've been here working for a week, and then it's like, why am I leaving Tuesday? That's just ludicrous. I have to go watch Sid and Gino take on the Creamsicles tomorrow night in Pittsburgh.
There you go. I love it.
Oh, that's great. You'd be a good guy to go to the game with too. Are you verbal? Are you saying stuff? Are you standing up and saying something to the referee? Is it profane, Joe Bartnick? Is it profane?
No. I try to keep it calm because like Sully taught us, we don't turn the other cheek Sedin style, but we just play our game. We're out there to win.
See, so now he's on the team now. Do you see what happened there?
Good
He just
Sully.
all of a
Coach
sudden
Sully, right?
went down to the bench. I saw that. What happened there. Joe, you have yourself a great time. We'll catch you again real soon.
Oh, you guys are the best. I can't wait to see you guys in Toronto next time. Call me anytime. All season, all off season. I love you guys.
We'll do it. Thanks, my
Thanks,
friend.
buddy. I appreciate that.
That is
bye-bye.
There it is. Our good friend Joe Bartnick, the legend, and one of the nicest guys.
You know what? We will have him on a little more often during the Stanley Cup postseason, just
Yeah.
because for example, tomorrow Liam McGuire is going to join us. Scott Taylor on Thursday, and my money says that Joe's probably going to find his way back with us next week or the week after. No doubt about that. It's not good. A lot of times when we have Joe, we have him on once every couple of months or something. That's going to be probably once every couple of weeks now, just because of what the postseason is and how well he follows it. And you know what? If we could have him on every single day,
he's holding back. Just so you know, I know he's holding back.
Yes, hey?
Oh, bugaboo.
What's wrong with that?
I don't think that makes it to his stage act, just so you know.
Rusty Bear would say bugaboo.
No, I'm sure he would.
Speaking of Rusty Bear, I can't believe somebody stole that name.
Okay, so let's
unreal.
Let's take a look at and again, this is sort of the confusing, not confusing, but the kind of the frustration I have sometimes with the world of the internet, where I think I'm trying to explain in what was sort of common, but. Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
So, the Raw Mike Richards Blade Tape Hot Playoff Pool Extravaganza. So we send out an e-blast to all those who have subscribed, once again subscribed, to rawmikeRichards.com. I usually put that link out when I send out these little promos. The rawmikeRichards.com. You click on that, go to subscribe. But I think a lot of people are subscribing on where they watch the show, which the vast majority, is YouTube. It's great that you subscribe. You don't miss a show. You see all the promos we put out later in the day. It's really what you want to do both. It's really what you want to do. But to get in, you need to subscribe to rawmikeRichards.com. The prize is $500. And we've got some beauties as we go through the magical list of team names. R. Graham 93. I wonder who that could be.
Roger Graham?
There's I've got two teams, by the way.
Rudiger Graham.
Yeah, Rudiger Graham.
Okay.
I have two teams. I have Team Sad Sex and Team Bad Sex.
Interesting.
You have Turd Ferguson. There's some beauties in here.
Turd Ferguson the third.
Yep. Here's, I see, I know someone from Stovall's in here because it says Billy fucking Hughes. So I realized right away there's some of my townspeople. You've got the Portuguese sensation. I believe that is J.C. Campos.
Interesting.
Backs Door Bandits. How about this one? Dick Pound Grinders. The Marchand de Venice. Oh, I knew who that is. Sydney Stills and Rick. Alberta Dave. The Riverside Inn. The infamous song that I made about chuck wagons when I found about a year of poo hardened in the toilet. Great place.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's in Ponoka. You got to stay
Riverside
there.
Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch the poo in your toilet. We haven't cleaned it in 2 years. Hall of Famer Alex. Chris from the Tokes, one of my all-time favorites out there in Okotoks. Good to see you, buddy. Beaver's Boys. Beaver Man is in play. Another Stovall Hall of Famer. Dirty Crusty Knobs.
Interesting. Yep.
Also was in the March Madness pool. Ape Tit. You don't see that a whole bunch.
No, you don't.
And I realize it's the first time I've seen that. Ape Tit 200. What does that mean? Here's one. I'm out of creativity. There's one for honesty. I know who Forticus is. That's interesting.
By the way, quickly when we look for some more, you're allowed to enter 3 teams per email address, so take advantage of it. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and to protect his identity, let's call him Franco.
Yeah,
Franco.
Who could that be?
And he sat there and he went, I'm only doing 1. I'm like, why would you do 1 when you have a chance for 3?
Yeah.
So if you're listening, 2 more entries. Do it.
I just did 2. I'm satisfied with the 2. I like my chances.
You don't want one more? You don't want to go all Boston Bruins with that 3rd one?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Also, I see that we have BP 45 Slovenia.
Oh.
Another Slovenian.
Yep.
Here's one. Suck my bad cock.
Interesting.
Russell. No?
No. Russell's 13.
Can't take credit for that one.
Multiple scoregasms. But I think someone is cheating Russell. And I thought this has to be he's Rusty Bear. They got Rusty Bear in here.
I know.
Oh, here's Rocket Robin Regier, Evil Mika. Those obviously from our Calgary guys. Screaming Chickens, I don't get that one.
Yeah,
Screaming
some chickens might scream, I guess.
Aaron Gobra, there's
yep.
Good Irishman there. The Tonellis, we know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Leafs Heart, that's our good buddy Julian. There's a ton in here. Blade Tape Bangers, I don't know who they are.
Yeah, who knows?
Here's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, one of the best IC champs ever. I can't believe he's Hall of Famer, too.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, rest in peace.
And Andre the Giant.
Watch it tonight on HBO at 10 o'clock.
Couldn't figure out who that would be. Yeah, the Rusty Bears, the Rusty Junior Bears, and the Rusty Bears Reserves.
Jeez, the reserves, too?
Yeah,
wow.
Russell is probably just livid at this point. We've got the...
he's throwing stuff over there, Mike.
Sweatpants and Good Shoes.
Yep.
Once again, the Edmonton reference.
Yeah, Steve Armitage's.
Here's Leaf Suck 1.
Okay.
It's not very nice.
No, that isn't.
No friggin' clue. Here's someone. Kevin L.
Kevin L.
Just
okay.
Kevin L. The Pacific Junction Lobbyists, where we broadcast. What could that be about? And so...
maybe it's Alex.
That is... could be.
Although I don't think he's ever used a computer.
So there you have it. There it is so far, as we have over 100 teams, 114 teams, but I know someone else has signed up. Once again, make sure you are subscribing to rawmike.richards.com. Get in on it. The Raw Mike Richards Blade Tape Playoff Pool Extravaganza. Subscribe now. Sorry.
There you go.
Get myself a little dizzy after that one. Speaking of dizzy, we always throw some retro. We're looking at a Flyers series. Well, it probably won't be like it was in the 70s.
Nope.
Because, and I say they would be arrested. They tried to arrest it. So it's a little scrambly. This is the Leafs scoring. Bernie Perron's in goal. He obviously isn't happy that he got scored on. He chops a guy, and as they say, the melee continues. And this is honestly what it was like when it was those playoff series. It always seemed to be Philadelphia and the Toronto Maple Leafs. It literally was a bloodbath. This is the whole Roy McMurtry, Boreas Salming's face cut up. It was just the ugliest thing you've ever seen. And once again, listen, NHL, property of the National Hockey League. And just watch what we as kids grew up with.
Was complaining about one of the Leafs, I think it might have been Turnbull, who had speared or slashed Perron, which prevented him from making the save, and this is what precipitated what happened, what's going on right now. Scott Garland fighting vigorously with Ray Scapinello to get loose.
Yeah, Ray wasn't that big either.
I think you're right, Don, in the fact Perron seemed to be held out of position.
So it was just like the Coliseum, the Lions versus the Christians. There's the Emperor.
True.
From the bunker. That is with his sidekick, King Clancy, and referring obviously to Harold Ballard. This stuff was going on every single game back in the mid-'70s when these two teams would meet. You'll notice, obviously, for people going, what is this? So no helmets, no advertising on the boards. And the glass that exists, look at the people who can get over it. It's not the super tall one. And then all of a sudden, look at Player in crowd, Dave. Like, can you imagine this? Look see how tiny the glass is.
And this is the one thing, Don, where
this is Nuck and Futz. That's what this is.
They should just sit down and be quiet. The players are in a game. They're under pressure. They're hot. And the one thing you're going to get is
Look, there's a guy all of a sudden, Dave. You're sitting there, honey. Don't say anything. Don't look at him.
Trying to get Zaleski to sit down.
Just craziness, and it was like this again, game after game in the mid-'70s. Look at the glass.
Yeah, they tinkered with the rules a little bit later on to fix that, eh?
Unbelievable. There you have it. I wouldn't suggest you're going to see that in the Pittsburgh.
No.
Philadelphia. But are you going to see some nasty?
You might see some nasty.
If you're Philadelphia, if you want to win, you're going to have to play that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny, the rosters aren't built the same way, right? So
no.
who gets nasty? Some of the decent role players, right? There's no scrappers. It's a league of
like Giroux's not going to go out there and all of a sudden start throwing haymakers.
No, it's a league of middleweights, right?
So then you move ahead now to I think it's April of 1983, I want to say. So 84. This is Dave Poulin, our good friend Pools is actually the captain. This is
number 20.
This is a very good, Dave. At this era of Philadelphia Flyer, this was a very good team. This is in goal, Pelle Lindbergh. And as I said beforehand, Dennis Herron, that's how I knew him, but apparently that's not how it's said, Dave.
No, Danny Herron.
Herron. Whatever his name was at this point, he wasn't a fan necessarily of this Pittsburgh team nor this game, property of the National Hockey League.
Ready, the Flyers starting out. Dave Poulin centering for Brian Poppin, Jim Kerr, Doug Crossman, Mark Howe in defense as Howe in control in his own zone, steers it clear. The Penguins starting out, favored Ron.
See, this is hockey where guys are actually skating.
Announced over the public address in the pregame.
It looks a little different than the last clip we just showed.
The starting right wing, Tom Rawlston, the former Edmonton Oiler, has Pat Butil in left wing. Brian Maxwell and Tom.
Philadelphia is hoping for a game like this.
And in front, Kerr shooting goes wide. Tim Kerr looking for number 50. Kerr pumped by Thornberry in front, Poulin score! Well, he didn't get a goal, but he got an assist. 3, Taylor 16, wore 15 in his Flyer days. Centering pass intercepted by Fox.
This is
and off the glass
not fair to the Herron family.
Going and picked up again by Fox. And Greg Fox, former Blackhawk, stolen in front, shot, score! There it is. That's number 50. Now Flyers have Kerr on again for Paul Gay. And Ilka Sinisalo, ironically, Kerr with 50 goals does not have a hat trick this year. And in fact, there's only one career hat trick. Now Kerr into the slot, shooting, save Herron, and score!
Just relentless.
They're counting it. And it's credited to Kerr. He's the second highest single-season goal getter in Flyer history.
Guy using his strength as his asset, just moving around the outside, upper body strength, holding him back, pushing the puck off, and in go the defenseman, the goaltender, and also the puck to give the Flyers a 3-0 lead.
And with that goal, Jim Kerr does become the second highest single-season scorer, and it's sent back the other way, and the only one there is Popham. He sent it up point, Thornberry, and it goes wide, rebound, score! Well,
as I said, there's a little sort of little flashback there. That was 1984. That was Dave Poulin and company back then. There's a good team.
As soon as you talked about Denny Herron, it reminded me of a childhood story that I'm going to throw up right now. So this was a hockey card of Dennis Herron, as some would say, with the Montreal Canadiens. This is 1982, I believe, 1983. And the big joke at the time when I was a kid collecting cards, because I was probably around 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. So hockey cards, massive, massive influence in my life, because when I did something great or something happened, parents' reward was pack of hockey cards, right?
Cards.
So
with the gum.
With the gum.
With the gum.
And the gum was delicious, by
love
the
that
way.
gum.
Only lasted 5 seconds, but it was a good 5 seconds.
O-Pee-Chee gum. That's what it was, made by O-Pee-Chee.
Thank you, exactly. So the big joke about this card, which I'll never forget, is there's a picture of Dennis Herron says Penguins, and at the bottom it says now with Penguins, and he's wearing the Canadiens jersey. And a friend of mine, when he first saw this, was, look how pissed he is that he got traded to the Penguins in this picture. It was because he's sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
And so to this day, we all laugh at it, and we laugh at him because obviously he doesn't know he's being traded at the time, right? He's not like let's quickly get a picture of him before he gets traded. It's like when they take the picture, when they profile it and put it through the machine, let's stamp it now with Penguins, because that's what they used to do.
He's probably sitting there going, I bet those bastards are going to trade me to Pittsburgh. Huh? Asshole.
I'll never forget that. There's certain hockey cards that you'll remember. Nothing significant about this. It's not like one of those outstanding poses or anything cool.
But you're not even the I'm sure grandchild at this point going, hey, grand-père.
Yeah.
How come it says Pittsburgh when you go, shut up? I don't want to talk about it. Never.
Because this was also in the era of that, even before that, especially in the 70s. If you're looking at your average 70s card, the player's kind of sitting like this in studio with no helmet, no nothing, and they take the picture. Or he's sitting there posing.
Oh, the old pose, yeah.
Or the goaltender is sitting there like that.
Or how about they went full-on breaks, right?
Yes.
The breaks with the snow.
Completely.
Yeah.
So,
the goalie ones always look crap.
Yeah.
It's
too bad. They have all that awesome equipment on. It looks good. The brown pads. You know how much I like that.
We should do
do some hockey cards?
Yeah, we got to do some hockey cards.
I think so.
Except for Russell, because he's terrible. I was trying to time it.
What?
Russell just going, I don't even like doing this show.
Become best friends. Yep.
Somebody uses Rusty Bears, and then I get this.
People stealing my name.
It's
I'd like to thank our good friend Joe Bartnick in the hood, back home in Pittsburgh. He's going to go catch the game. That's going to be a great series. We'll do, our breakdown probably
we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow just because it's a start. Puck drops at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow.
And make sure, once again, you subscribe to the right place to get into the pool.
Let's get ready to rumble!
It is rawmikeRichards.com. That's where you want to go. That's where you want to subscribe. That's how you get in. And for those who get the e-blast and it says on your phone from the mailing list, do you wish to unsubscribe? Make sure you know what you're unsubscribing to, because people are making a mistake. I got to contact people. Don't unsubscribe. Bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Fire!